said it twice now, and welcome to any answers. In any questions the panel discussed, is it compatible with modern open government for MPs to spend public money on employing close relatives? The fallout from the Derek Conway case. Then there's the latest on HIPS, not the NHS.
It's me!
Hi, me! Who are the flowers for?
They're for you.
Why, it's not my birthday or our anniversary, is it?
You know it's not. Just thought you'd like some flowers, that's all.
Ed, what have you been up to?
Sue, I haven't been up to anything. Can't I buy my wife some flowers if I want?
Well, they're very nice, but there must be a reason. I know. You're up to something with the lads from the local and you don't know how to tell me, right?
Wrong.
A bachelor trip to Amsterdam?
At my age, no off it. But you're right. There is something.
I knew it. Go on then.
I just wanted to tell you how much I love you. And have done for the past 25 years.
Oh, God. Pass me a bucket. I'm going to be sick.
Oh, that's nice. Here I am trying to be all romantic and all you can say is pass me a bucket.
Oh, don't be so sensitive.
Sensitive? I tell you I love you and all you can say is pass me a bucket. And to think of it, you never tell me you love me.
What? We were married young and I had your baby shortly afterwards, but that's another story, isn't it? I wash, iron, cook, clean. I've had your children and I'm still here after 25 years. I might be wrong, but don't actions speak louder than words? Now come here and give me a hug.
Oh, I was thinking of something a little more exciting.
For a bunch of flowers? Think again.
Well, in that case, if the flowers won't work, we can go to bed with me for £1,000.
Where did you get £1,000?
I haven't got £1,000.
Well, in that case, it's a silly question. And if you did have all that money, I'd want half.
If you'd been listening, you could have had it all.
I should think so. So, what you're saying is, would I play naughties with you for £1,000?
Yes.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Go on then.
Now, would you go to bed with me for a tenner?
No way! What kind of a girl do you take me for?
Well, we've already established that. All we're doing now is sorting the prize out.
Very funny. Well, let's discuss this. When are you going to paint the bedroom?
To guarantee to get you in there without one of your headaches, let's start now.
25 years. It's a long time with the same man.
What a strange thing to say. That's as if you regret marrying me.
Nonsense. Mind you, 25 years is 4 life sentences. I could have killed you 4 times, done my time as they say, and still be sitting here free as a bird. Oh, is that the time? Let's have a cup of coffee before I go out.
Well, where are you going?
I promised to babysit for our Peter while he and Jenny go looking for a bathroom suite. Do you want to come with me?
I can't, your Tom's coming round, remember?
Oh, I'd forgotten. Does he want to see me?
No, he's coming to tell me about his new venture.
What new venture? And how much?
Says it won't cost him a penny.
I guess it won't. I mean, how much will it cost us?
Nothing at all.
That takes some believing without Tom.
Well, that's what he said. You want a biscuit?
No, thank you.
Well, I won't bother then.
Have one if you want one.
No, I'm on a diet.
Ed, you've been on a diet since we were married and you've hardly put any weight on. Now have a biscuit if you want one.
No, there's a spare tyre coming on.
Well, if that's a spare tyre, I won't be putting it on my car.
Look, I'm going to make a concerted effort and I'm starting by cutting everything out with sugar in it.
Beer has sugar in it.
Who told you that?
It's a fact.
Nonsense. If it had sugar in it, you'd be able to taste it, wouldn't you? I mean, when you ask for a pint, they don't say, do you want 1 lump or 2?
Who am I to argue with the connoisseur? So, what's brought on this so-called concerted effort?
The window cleaner.
Well, I don't think Don needs to go on a diet.
I know he doesn't.
Well, in that case, what's he got to do with your diet?
Well, the other day when Don was doing our windows, I thought to myself how slim his waist was. So I decided there and then I was going to lose some weight, because my ambition is to get into a pair of his trousers.
Oh, it's my ambition too. So I'm not going on a diet.
I don't mean it that way.
I know you don't, but I do. Oh, the look on your face. It's a picture. I'm only joking. Don't be so sensitive. Go on then. I'll have a biscuit. Talking about the window cleaner has made me hungry. For a biscuit, that is.
Well, if I can't keep up with the window cleaner, I might as well have one. You know, when we were first married and we lived down Green Street, do you remember John and Elaine Wilson?
John and Elaine Wilson.
She was 3 months pregnant with twins when they married. Her mother couldn't accept it. Said the wedding dress had a front bustle.
Oh, I do now. Weren't they married on the same day as us?
That's right. Saw John Wilson in town last week.
I haven't seen them since we moved here, and that's over 20 years ago. I wouldn't know either of them. How did you?
I didn't. He came over and spoke to me.
Well, that's amazing, because you haven't weathered well.
Beg your pardon.
Only joking. And how are they?
Well, it seems she's fine, but he's in a right state.
Why?
Oh, a couple of months ago, she ran off with the window cleaner.
I hope they don't call him Don.
Oh, come on, Sue. 25 years married and your wife suddenly ups and leaves. Can't be easy to handle.
Surely there were some signs.
Well, like what?
Like having your windows cleaned every day?
You know, sometimes you can be so harsh.
Oh, Ed, I feel sorry for John, and it must have been a massive shock. But I'd like to hear what Elaine had to say before I draw my conclusions.
Oh, that's right. Take her side, just like a woman.
I'm taking nobody's side. But from your tone, you've taken John's, just like a man.
Sometimes you can be so matter-of-fact.
I don't believe this. We're having an argument about two people that we haven't seen for 20 years.
You started it.
Did I? In that case, I'll finish it. Over the last 20 years, we've no idea what kind of marriage they've had. And unless we know all the circumstances, what right have we to make any judgment on either of them? Perhaps they never did the little things that made her feel appreciated.
Like what?
Like bringing home a bunch of flowers.
I see. You want another biscuit? There's only two left. A digestive and a custard cream. You can have the custard cream.
I should think so. Biscuits, I better put them on my list.
Ah, what are you writing?
It's all the things I need from the supermarket. Do you want anything?
Could do with some shaving gel.
I've got that. Now, what do you want for your tea?
Oh, I've no idea. Here, let me have a look at your list. There might be something on there that'll tempt me. So, I can't read this, it's all in code.
I know it is.
Well, then why give it to me?
Oh, didn't you ask for it?
I don't know why. I mean, nobody could read this. I mean, what's 2 pot of pot?
2 pounds of potatoes.
You mean a kilo?
If I wanted a kilo, I'd have written a kilo. Now, what do you want for your tea?
Oh, I don't know. Here, let me have another look. I know. I'll have whoop, spelled W-U-P.
Would you like it on toast?
Sounds good to me. Whoop on toast. What is whoop, by the way?
What is washing up liquid? Now, what would you really like for your tea?
I think I'd better leave it up to you.
A very sensible decision, if I may say so.
So, when will you be going to the supermarket?
I'll probably go straight from our Peters.
And when will you be home?
Now that is romantic. I haven't gone yet, and you're missing me already. Or could it be that our Tommy's coming round, And there's extra beer in the fridge, without sugar, of course. And I might be wrong here, but isn't there a big game on the television this afternoon?
It could be.
I'll take that as a yes, and I didn't even have to mention the flowers.
Well, don't, because they had nothing to do with the match.
Strange. I believe you. Thousands wouldn't. Now, come here and give me a hug. And while I'm thinking about you, I've been asking you for weeks. Is there anything you really want for your birthday?
Oh, I still fancy those flying lessons.
Oh, Ed, I'm sorry. I'm not made of money.
Oh, no. Can I leave it up to you?
Of course you can. And I'll try and get you a really big birthday surprise.
Just a minute, what do you mean, while you was thinking of me?
Saved by the bell.
I'll get it. Going, Tom.
Thanks, Ed. And how's my favourite sister?
I'm your only sister, Tom. And the answer is no.
What are you on about?
Ed'll explain. Right, I'm off.
Where are you going?
Babysitting. And then off to the supermarket to find a toy boy.
Well, you shouldn't have any problem. You're still an attractive woman. For your age, that is.
I'm not certain if that was a compliment. And even if it was, the answer is still no. Right, I'm off. And I'll see you sometime after the final whistle.
What's up with her?
I mentioned your new venture, and she thinks it'll cost us money.
Well, didn't you tell her it won't cost a penny?
I tried. But your track record on that front isn't very good, is it?
No, but I've always paid you back, haven't I?
In time, yes.
So, what's the problem?
The uncertainty, Tom. The uncertainty, that's a problem. Never knowing if the money will be returned. Believe you me, that's caused quite a few arguments in this house.
Look, I'm sorry about that, but this time I guarantee it won't cost either of you anything. You know, sometimes I really think Arsene don't like me.
Ah, you could be right.
Oh, thanks for that.
Don't mention it.
You know, you really know how to boost a chap's confidence, don't you, Ed?
It's nice of you to say so. Now, look, what's this new venture of yours?
Oh, right. Go on, sit down, sit down. Because you're not going to believe this. I'm going to be a private detective.
You're right, I don't believe it. A private detective?
That's what I said.
Well, what's brought this on?
Well, I've fancied doing it for years. Ever since I got a detective kit from Father Christmas.
That was over 30 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but the desire must have been hiding in my subconscious, just waiting for the right vision to trigger it off.
And what was this vision?
Well, it wasn't exactly a vision.
Well, what was it then?
There was a rerun of the Rockford Files on UK.
Tom, having a camera, a spyglass and an old raincoat doesn't make you a private detective.
I know that.
And don't you need to know something, you know, aren't you supposed to be an ex-bobby to do that kind of job? And don't you need to know something about the law?
Possibly.
Possibly.
Look, that's all in the future, and I'm planning to get round to the law bit. But in the meantime, I've introduced some of my own procedures.
Well, go on then.
Well, go on then, what?
Tell me about your procedures.
Oh, right, well, I've started to follow people through the centre of town, right? And get up right close to them without them even knowing.
You don't wear an old Mac, do you?
Why, is that important?
Could be. If it's a woman you're following and she turns round and sees you in a flash of Mac.
No, you're very discreet and quiet. When we were kids, we used to play cowboys and Indians, and I was always the Indian who could get closest to the cowboy without being seen.
Wearing war paint and firing a bow and arrow doesn't make you inconspicuous.
You know what I mean, Ed. Don't shoot me down before I've even started.
Well, that's the last thing I want to do, but somebody's got to play the devil's advocate, and it might as well be me, okay?
Okay.
So, when you're stalking, is it always in the town centre?
Ed, I am not a stalker.
All right, I'll rephrase it. When you're following people, is it always in the town centre?
Yes.
And how long have you been doing it?
About a couple of weeks.
And is it all day, every day?
Well, no, because you've got to vary the times and days. Because you don't want to be bumping into the same people, do you?
But have you ever noticed if anybody's following you?
Why would anybody want to follow me?
Well, perhaps apprentice private detectives like you.
Well, if they are, I haven't noticed, because I've never bothered to turn around and have a look.
Some private detective you are.
What did you say?
Nothing. Tom, have you ever heard of CCTV?
Of course I have. It's one of those tests you have to have in hospital.
Tom, CCTV is a set of cameras strategically placed all over our town centre. And behind those cameras are screens. And watching those screens are people on the lookout for criminal activity.
Well, like what?
Like muggings and shoplifters and fights. And men wearing old raincoats who might be following certain people.
Bloody hell.
Aye, bloody hell sounds about right.
I think it might be a good idea if I stay out at centre of town for a while.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Come on, let's get a couple of beers and watch that match.
That sounds like a good idea.
The ball is out of play down this near side. So we've got Walcott on now, playing with Bentner. A new strike force. Arsenal beginning the game with Adebayor and Eduardo. Diaby's been replaced as well. Gilberto's on. Clem is playing on the left.
I just don't believe it. And we can't even blame the ref. We were humiliated. Humiliated by a team 2 divisions below us.
I know, this was our chance for a great cup run. We're going to blow it just like last season.
Aye, and the season before.
I'm trying to think of a word to sum it all up.
Crap comes to mind.
Ah, that sounds about right. Not another beer?
No, I'm driving.
Hello? Okay, I'll see you later, bye. That was Sue. Jenny and Peter have just got back, and after a quick coffee, she's going straight round to the supermarket. Oh, and the sister who doesn't like you says you can stay for tea.
Sounds good to me.
Now, there's a thought. If you're so set on being a private detective, I think I have your first assignment.
Go on.
Well, why don't you follow your sister and take some photographs? Without being seen, of course.
You think she's up to something, don't you?
No, I don't think anything of the kind. It's just that, well, this could be your opportunity to prove that you have what it takes.
Is it? Ed, Sue doesn't have to see me coming. She can smell me from 500 yards away, and it's not to do with personal hygiene.
But this could be a chance to prove that you really have what it takes.
Oh, I don't know, Ed. I think I need a few more cases before I take on our Sue. And then there are some moral issues.
Like what?
Like spying on my own sister for a start.
Oh, well, I wouldn't want any moral issues, would we? £20.
30.
25.
Done. When do you want me to start?
No time like the present. If you set off now, you should be at the supermarket before Sue arrives. Then all you have to do is follow her around for a bit, do what private detectives do, and come back here.
Fair enough.
Oh, and another thing.
What?
Will you be wearing the Mac?
Hey, I don't have...
No, don't. Leave me with this mental vision I have of you in an old raincoat.
Well, have it your way. After all, you're the paying client. Which reminds me, talking of money, is there any chance of being paid up front?
No, you'll get the money when the job's done.
Right. Well, I better get started then. Because I'm going out tonight, and that 30 quid might come in pretty handy.
25.
Oh, yeah, sorry. My mistake. Right, I'll see you later.
And in the Barclays Premier League, Birmingham City 1, Derby County 1. Blackburn Rovers 0, Everton 0. Liverpool and Sunderland.
I'm home.
Manchester
Hi.
City 1, Arsenal.
Did you enjoy the game?
Well, enjoy is not a word I'd use.
Oh, I see.
You okay?
Fine.
And did they get the bathroom suite?
They've seen one they like, but they haven't made a decision yet.
And how's my granddaughter?
Oh, Ed, she's gorgeous, and she's been a little angel. Slept most of the time, woke up for a bit, and then straight back to sleep.
Well, that's what they do at that age, isn't it? Eat, change nappy and sleep. Eat, change nappy and sleep, and not necessarily in that order.
How would you know? You never did a thing. I did it all. In fact, I don't ever remember you changing out Peter's nappy.
I did once.
No, you didn't. You started, but by the time you dropped a tea towel round your head and sprayed it with perfume, I'd already changed it.
That's because I have a very acute sense of smell.
The rest of us don't.
I'm not saying that, it's just that mine must be more acute.
Well, it would be, wouldn't it? You know, I've often wondered how you would have managed for a full day with Peter on his own.
Oh, no problem at all.
So you'd have left him in a wet nappy all day?
Certainly not.
You'd have changed him then?
No.
So what's the alternative?
I'd have rung your mother.
Now, of course, why didn't I think of that? Would you mind putting the rest of the shopping away while I go and get in those other bags? Oh, and by the way, Tom isn't coming for supper.
Well, how do you know that?
I saw him at the supermarket.
What?
Alex, I'll dine for some coffee.
Hello? Tom? What's going on? No, she's gone to fetch the shopping from the car. So what happened? I thought you needed the money. What do you mean you can't tell me now? Well, when can you tell me? Well, in that case, be here tomorrow morning at 11 because Sue's going out at 10:30 and don't be late.
Did I hear the phone?
Oh, yes, it was a wrong number. Here, let me put those with the rest. You take the weight off your legs and I'll get you that coffee.
Oh, what a good idea, thank you.
So, where did you spot Tom? Between the meat and the veg?
No, but there have been times over the years when I could have kicked him there.
Here you are.
Oh, thanks.
So where did you spot him?
I didn't spot him. You make it sound as if he was following me. I was leaving the supermarket as he was going in.
Was he wearing a map?
No. What's got into you, Ed?
Oh, nothing. Did you say if he was coming back?
All he said was that he told you he had somewhere to go and then he'd be back. But something had cropped up and he couldn't make it. You two had an argument.
No, of course not. Did you see anybody else?
Oh, I would guess at about 200 people.
No. I mean anybody else you knew?
Nobody. Oh, hang on a minute. I think I saw Elaine Wilson with her window cleaner.
You said you wouldn't know her if you saw her.
That's true, but I'm sure it was them.
How?
Well, when you see an older woman holding hands with a much younger man, and they're looking lovingly into each other's eyes, sort of gives the game away, don't you think?
Well, it doesn't mean to say it was Elaine Wilson, does it?
That's true, but there was something else.
What?
He was carrying a bucket and he had a ladder over his shoulder.
You're taking the mickey, aren't you?
Whatever gave you that idea?
Did you get any cakes?
I got a couple of custard tarts.
I don't like custard tarts.
I know, but I do.
Didn't you get anything for me?
Sort of.
What do you mean, sort of?
Well, you know this morning when we were discussing the bedroom, I mentioned decorating it, and you tried to entice me into it with a measly bunch of flowers.
Measly? They cost me £4.50 at the petrol station.
Oh, did they now? So the price is going down.
What do you mean, going down?
Because this morning we started at £1,000, and then it went down to £10, and now it's £4.50. Come on, Ed. What's a girl worth?
Is it called supply and demand?
I've no idea what it's called. But let's put it this way. You might be demanding, but this lady is not supplying, okay?
Oh, all right, you've made your point. So, what colour paint did you get?
Magnolia.
An excellent choice.
And you're not completely forgotten. I put some of your favourite ginger biscuits in the biscuit barrel. Right, I'm off to watch television for half an hour and then I'll make some tea.
Pity your Tom's not coming back.
Yes, it is. Are you sure you two haven't had an argument?
Why? What's wrong, Sue?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably nothing, but when our Tom was 6 or 7, I took him with me to do some shopping for our mum. We went in one shop and he went missing. Oh, it was only for a minute at the most before I found him. But the anguish and the little boy lost look on his face is something I've forgotten all about. Until I saw him today at the supermarket. Then again, it could be me and my imagination. Right, I'm off.
I'll be with you in a minute. Tom, you better be here tomorrow at 11.
Welcome to National Lottery Interview. Here's your host, John Barrowman.
Thanks, Alan. Now, if I said to you, holy clips of the
Where the hell have you been?
I said I'd be here at 11, didn't I?
It's 2 minutes past. Now, what have you got to show me?
Nothing.
Nothing. Don't bloody well give me that. You saw something at the supermarket yesterday and I want to know what it was.
Who told you that?
Never mind who told me. Now, what did you see and where are the photographs?
They didn't come out.
Look, Mr. Private Detective, I'm only going to ask this question one more time and then you'll be out, spark out. Now, what did you see and where are the photographs?
Where's our Sue?
Sue's going to get my birthday present. And before you ask, I don't know what it is, but it's going to be a big surprise.
I see. Well, happy birthday.
Thanks. Can we get back to business?
Where's me money?
What? I fear my life falling apart and all you can say is, where's me money?
Well, you mentioned the word business and I want paying before I say out.
Bloody hell, Tom, how bad can this get?
You won't know unless you pay me.
All right. Here's your pound of flesh, Shylock.
Hey, he were a private detective and all, wasn't he?
Who?
Sherlock Holmes.
Tom, have you got a death wish?
No.
Well then,
All right. When I got to the supermarket, I managed to park right next to entrance.
how long did you have to wait?
About 10 minutes.
And then Sue arrived and you followed her into the supermarket, right?
No, she didn't go in.
Why?
Waiting for somebody.
Who?
You'd better look at the photographs.
Well, I can't see his face on this one. Is it Dom?
Dom.
Dom, the window cleaner.
Well, if you can't see his face, what makes you think it's Dom?
His waist.
His waist?
Never mind. I see his face on this one. Bloody hell, he must be at least 20 years younger than I am. Have you ever seen him before?
No, can't say I have.
He's got an Italian look about him.
Well, that's what I thought. The Italian stallion.
The Italian stallion? What are you saying?
I'm saying nothing.
Think you are?
Well, in that case, What do you think I'm saying?
You're saying that I'm inadequate.
The thought never occurred to me. Mind you, Sue is a lot younger than you.
6 months, that's all. Do you think Sue could be paying him?
Maybe. After all, I don't know what turns her on.
You mean he's getting paid for it, and I can't get anything for my 4.5 quid?
4.5 quid?
Never mind. So what happened then?
But then I followed them to his car.
Don't tell me. It was an Alfa Romeo.
You'd better look at the next photograph.
Oh, bloody hell, it is an Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, and it's one of those with blacked out windows. You know the type that you can't even see through if you've got your nose pushed right against the glass. The right passion wagon.
Well, how long were they in there?
In where?
In the car.
Oh, they didn't get in the car.
But you mentioned the windows.
Yeah, and that's all it was. A mention. They were in my sight all the time. Now have a look at next photograph.
He's giving her an envelope. Bloody hell, it's his invoice.
No, you've got it wrong. Sue's giving him the envelope.
Oh, settling the account is shit.
I think you're jumping to conclusions.
Aye, jump sounds about right. I end up with a packet of bloody ginger biscuits, and he helps himself to everything else. Is this the last photograph?
Yes.
So what happened then?
Big hooks all round and Sue went in to do the shopping.
Did you follow her?
What's the point in doing that? Surely you've seen and heard enough.
I suppose so. So what did you do then?
I waited for Sue to come out and then I made me excuses about tea. I couldn't have come back here last night, Ed. So, what are you going to do?
No. What do you think?
Well, but has Sue ever done anything like this before?
Not to my knowledge. Then again, I've never had her followed before. Oh, I don't know. To think that after 25 years of marriage it could all end up like this.
Well, the end is nigh. Sue's back.
Can you see my birthday present?
At a time like this, all you can think about is your birthday present.
Why not? Nothing else to look forward to. Can you see my present?
No, not from here. Hang on a minute. Hang on, there's another car pulling up. Oh, I can see your present now. You're right. It is a big surprise.
Why, what is it?
It's the Italian stallion.
What? What the bloody hell's he doing here?
Should I know? Perhaps he's moving in.
Over my dead body.
Looking at the size of him, I think that could be arranged. Mind you, look on the bright side.
On the bright side.
Could be that he's not moving in at all. Could be that Sue's moving out. That way you get to keep the house.
And that makes all the difference.
Don't mention it. It's what brother-in-laws are for.
Is it? I've often wondered. Oh, look, quick, Sue's coming back in. Sit down and act normal, and hide those photographs.
What's the matter with you two? You look as if you've lost a pound and found a penny.
We're fine, aren't we, Tom?
Fine.
Tom, that's the second time in 2 days I've seen that weird look on your face. And you should be smiling, seeing as though it's your birthday.
How's that?
Much better. Right, I've a couple of things to do, and then I'll get you your birthday present.
What's in the envelope?
Nothing.
And what do you want with an empty envelope?
Oh, all right, the cat will be out of the bag in a few minutes anyway. It's the balance of the money I owe Carlos.
Balance of the money I owe Carlos? Bloody hell, how much is she paying him?
I don't know. But it must be good. Well, better at it than you anyway.
You're enjoying this, aren't you?
I gave you that idea. I'm just as worried as you are.
Are you? Well, in that case, would you mind going and looking out of the window and telling me what they're up to?
They're not up to anything.
Must be up to something.
Talking, that's all. If you don't believe me, come and have a look for yourself.
No, I'm all right here. So what are they doing now?
I've just said. Oh, hang on a minute, hang on. I don't believe this. Carlos has just laid our sewer across Alfa Romeo's bonnet.
What?
So just stay where you are, I'm joking.
Joking at a time like this?
Yes, joking. You say I'm enjoying this, but it couldn't be further from the truth. It really is ludicrous. It really could be further from the truth.
Well, this is my wife we're talking about.
Yes, and it's my sister, and I don't know what's got into her. That's if anything has, because all we're doing is making assumptions.
Oh, come on, all you've got to do is look at the evidence.
I know, but I also know that this is completely out of character, and there must be a reasonable explanation.
Well, let's hope so.
Oh, well, we will soon know. Sue's on her way back in with another envelope.
Another invoice? Has the woman no shame?
Oh, I'm glad that's all over. I'm getting too old for all this cloak and dagger stuff, especially in a supermarket car park. I promised myself I'll make it much simpler next time.
She's admitting it.
Admitting what?
What's in the envelope?
Probably divorce papers.
And who's Carlos? You said you was going to the supermarket to find a toy boy, but seemed you already had one.
So, it was you at the supermarket skulking round between the cars. Still hankering after being a private detective, are we? Well, my advice is don't. And if you must, wear an old raincoat.
I told him that.
Oh, did you now? That's very interesting. I might have known this couldn't have all been Tom's idea. And how much did it cost Sherlock here to spy on us?
£25.
And was it money well spent?
No, not with all the heartache it's caused.
And how do you both feel now?
Scared.
And so you should be. Can you tell me who would blame me for being so angry with you two? For even thinking I could be up to something with a man young enough to be my son? But it can't be. And shall I tell you why? It's because I'm a very lucky lady to have two men who think so much about me. A brother who obviously cares, and who I adore even though he doesn't think so. And a husband I love dearly, and it's quite obvious from his antics he loves me, and can still be jealous after 25 years of marriage. Tell me, what more could a girl ask for? Right, which order do you want it in? Carlos or the envelope?
Carlos?
In that case, I'll start with the envelope. Come here, Ed. Happy birthday, love. Right, open the envelope.
I don't believe it! It's flying lessons! Bloody flying lessons! Oh, thank you so much. Oh.
And now to Carlos. Well, there's no denying he has one hell of an arsenal. Ed, Carlos is the pilot who's going to be giving you a flying lesson. I know you've always wanted one, but I couldn't afford to pay straight away, so I've been paying him bit by bit over the last few months to give you the present you've always wanted. Now, does that answer all your questions?
What a relief, eh, Tom?
Absolutely.
Good. But there's one thing that would have made me really angry.
What's that?
If either of you had thought I was paying Carlos for his services,
You mean like a gigolo?
that's exactly what I mean.
Never entered our minds, did it, Tom?
It's a gigolo.
Well, I'm glad we've sorted everything out. Tom, would you mind leaving Ed and me on our own for a little while?
Oh!
But you will be back back for the birthday boy's party?
Wild Italian stallions couldn't keep me away.
I think you mean horses.
Oh, yes, sorry. My mistake. Yeah. Do you want me to put the latch on the way out?
If you don't mind.
Right.
Right, birthday boy. I'd like you to accompany me to the bedroom.
Why? Where's the tin of magnolia?
Still in the car. But we're not going up there to paint.
We aren't.
No. We're going to discuss the price of flowers. After all, Ed, what's a girl worth?
Comrades, comrades, ever since we were boys, sharing each other's sorrows, sharing each other's joys. Comrades, when manhood was dawning, faithful whate'er may betide, when danger threatened my darling, old comrade was there by my side.
Morning, Jack.
Morning, Harry.
There's no bin liner in this waste bin.
Eh? How long have we been friends?
Since we started school, but you know that. Why do you ask?
And we're good friends.
No, we're best friends and have been for the last 62 years. What's the matter? Are you feeling unloved?
I might be. Now then, what did you say?
I said there was no bin liner in that waste bin.
Well, is it that important? Someone's forgotten to put one in, that's all.
Well, they shouldn't have. They're not paid to forget. My council tax costs a fortune and it's not good enough.
Well, I don't suppose all the money goes on buying bin liners.
Well, I know it doesn't, but I still think standards are slipping.
If you say so.
I do say so. What's the matter with you?
Nothing's the matter with me.
Oh, yes, there is.
All right, there is.
I knew it. What's the problem?
You're the problem.
Me? What have I done?
What have you done? I'm in a beautiful park, on a beautiful day, and until a few moments ago, I was sitting here quietly reading my newspaper, enjoying the peace and tranquility. And then, who comes along but you, Eric and Harry, shouting about bin liners, or in this case, the lack of one.
Okay, Jack, it's not bloody right.
Harry, it's not a hanging offence, is it?
Bloody well would be if I my way.
In that case, perhaps we should be grateful for small mercies.
How's it going to feel reading your paper? You usually do.
No, it's too windy.
Windy, what are you talking about? It's a beautiful... Oh, you mean me, Eric and Harry. Well, I'm sorry, but things like that bin liner annoy me.
Oh, I'm well aware of the things that annoy you.
Hey, there was a bit of a commotion when I came to Retail Park this morning. There was an ambulance just leaving, followed by a security van. Did you see anything when you came to?
No, everything was fine. And it looks peaceful now.
How do you know that?
I can see in the car park from up here.
Oh, you can, I didn't realise. Hey, do you think there's been a robbery?
I've no idea. But why should there have been a robbery?
Well, because of the ambulance and the security van.
Have you thought that there might be a simpler explanation, like the van was delivering or collecting money, and the ambulance, well, perhaps the ambulance driver wanted a new carpet or something. Anyway, there can't have been a robbery.
How do you know that?
Well, how many police cars did you see?
None.
Well, don't you think if there'd been a robbery, the police would have been there?
Well, I suppose so.
And I'm sure the police wouldn't have left the scene of the crime before the ambulance, but then again, I could be wrong.
Oh, then again, I could be wrong. Clever bugger. If there had been a robbery and they caught the culprits, do you not have done with them?
What?
Same as the Saudis, cut the bloody hands off.
And tell me, Harry, what would you cut off if they committed adultery?
Oh, don't be so bloody smart, you know what I mean. Facing the punishment hardly fits the crime nowadays.
Yes, I know what you mean. And I know something else as well. Whenever you get uptight about something, you can't stop swearing.
Well, that's a load of bloody rubbish.
Oh, yeah. You think so, do you?
Well, no I don't. Jean's been playing all about it lately. I don't know, everything seems to wind me up at the moment. It might be me, Jack, but you never seem to see any good news nowadays. Everything you watch on telly or listen to radio, it's all doom and gloom. I mean, have you read anything in your paper that made you feel like smiling or a laugh or gave you that feel-good factor? I bet there isn't one.
Well, I can't argue with that.
And what about the sports pages? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Never mind the sports pages. What have you read about today?
Murder, drugs, arson.
Oh. And now what about the sports pages?
Those are the sports pages.
My point exactly.
Is there any chance of dismounting just for a couple of minutes?
What?
You know, getting down off your high horse.
Well,
I should have asked about Mary sooner.
I'm sorry, yes, I should have asked about Mary sooner. Has she got the result of her test back yet?
No, not yet. Is Jean okay?
Oh, yes, the proverbial creaking gait is my Jean. Today it's the shoulder, tomorrow it'll be the knee or the elbow. I'll tell you what, she'll probably outlive the lot of us.
Probably. Harry, can I ask you a question?
Well, if you can't ask me, who can you ask?
Right. Have you ever crossed the line?
What do you mean, cross the line?
Well, you remember when we were younger, on a Saturday morning, we used to catch a bus into town, and usually we'd walk through Woolworths.
Good old Woolies.
Harry, did you ever pinch a toffee off the sweets counter?
No, I did not. Did you?
Well, I wouldn't tell you if I had. I think I'd like to keep my hands.
You must have, or you wouldn't have asked the question. I can stand here with my hand on my heart and say I have never knocked anything off.
Well, you knocked Ben Wilson's wife off when he were working nights.
Well, that were different. I just took advantage of a situation that presented itself.
A situation that presented itself? You had it off with another man's wife.
Oh, come off it. You're just trying to justify your toffee stealing days. It won't work. You can find another street to park on.
Hey, and talking of Mrs. Wilson, I saw her in town the other day. She was with her son. Now, I don't know. It might have been the light, but I'm certain had a look of you.
Oh, bugger off.
Does Jean know?
No, she doesn't. And why should she? It happened years before I met her. Ooh. Jack, does Mary know?
Of course not. Right. Can we get back to the sweetie counter?
What's the matter with you? I've told you I've never stolen anything.
Except Mrs. Wilson's honour. Hey, and that's a point. Would you have fought for Mrs. Wilson's honour?
Oh, why should I? For what I heard, she never fought for it herself. Are we finished with the sweeties?
Okay. But I would like to ask you a hypothetical question.
What about?
Stealing.
Bloody hell, I don't believe it. How long have we been friends?
You've already answered that question and you're starting to swear again.
I'm not surprised, are you? Well, you must have some other friends you can ask this hypothetical question to.
Oh, come on, Harry, don't give me that. If you weren't here now with me, what would you be doing?
Keeping me sanity, for one thing. Decorating.
Exactly. And we all know how much you love decorating.
Okay, you win. You can ask your question. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm as pure as driven snow.
So was Mrs. Wilson till she met you.
More of a slushy grey colour, as I remember rightly.
Well, if the opportunity presented itself where you could lay your hands on some money, would you take advantage of the situation?
Do you mean steal it?
Yes, but particularly if you knew that there was little chance of ever being caught.
It doesn't matter whether you're caught or not.
But supposing the money wasn't for your personal gain, but to enrich somebody else's life, would you do it then?
Jack, you can dress it up as how you please, but it's still stealing. Look, I know we're talking hypothetical, and I don't want to be hypocritical, but you're not telling me anything, are you?
How do you mean?
Well, all you've said was if you could steal some money and not get caught, would you do it?
That's right.
No, it's not. How much is involved? Is it a bank? Is it a petrol station? At a shop? Ask some old dear gone to collect a pension from the post office and unknowingly dropped it, and you've picked it up and walked off with it.
Oh, come on, Harry. Who's sick enough to do that?
Well, that's what we're trying to establish. I mean, has this incident happened? Is it about to happen? Come on, I've given you enough facts to work with. Paint me a picture, and I promise I will try to be unbiased.
So, there might be a chink in your armour after all.
No, there isn't. All I said was I'd try to be unbiased.
Right. Well, how's this for a picture? You know that security van in the retail park?
Yes.
Well, I've just robbed it.
Pardon?
You heard?
So you robbed a van? So may I ask where the ambulance comes in?
One of the guards.
So you hit him?
No, he collapsed.
And I will be after unless it's this cotton bull story.
So what's so funny?
You are. All these bloody questions you've been asking about my honesty, and all the time, it wasn't my honesty we were talking about, it was your honesty, not mine. Why do you think I asked you all these questions? You know, was it a banker, a petrol station, a shop, a pensioner? Jack, for one bloody awful moment, I thought you'd taken leave of your senses and stolen some money. You scared me, Jack, and I'm not too happy about it.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Harry. I didn't mean to scare you. Look, it's blown up out of all proportion. All I wanted to know is if everything in your life is still black and white, or have the years mellowed you a little? Perhaps there might be a grey area.
That's the part I don't understand. You've known me since we started school, and you know I don't believe in grey areas. I never have, and I never will. We're best mates, Jack, but don't ever pull a stunt like that on me again.
When did you realise?
Well, when you started talking about the security van, I thought, I'm sure they have 3 guards, and aren't they armour-plated? So tell me, how can a man of your age take on a van that size, not to mention 3 men, and then do a runner with the money? Come on, you'd need dynamite to get into a van like that, and I'm sure you've none of that in your garden shed.
See, I should have come up with something a little more plausible.
Yes, you should. Are we walking into town and calling for a pint?
Oh, you usually do.
Well, on his way in, let's have to call at Curry's.
What for?
Jean, she wants one of them VDs.
VDs? I didn't know you could catch that in Curry's.
What?
You mean a DVD?
That's what I said.
Yes, of course you did.
I don't know the hell she wants one of them things for. We've had a video for years and I still don't know how it works.
I'm the same. When we bought ours, my 10-year-old grandson came and tuned it in for us. Oh, we tried to explain everything, but all I can do is stick a tape in and press play.
The speed of modern technology amazes me. It's only a few years ago that mobile phones were as big as bricks. And now look at them. Size of postage stamps.
You're right. And everywhere you go, people have them stuck to their ears.
Oh, I don't mind that so much, but all I see when I'm out is people sending messages.
They call them texts.
I know what they call them.
Touchy.
Well, you're spoiling my story.
Oh, I didn't realise. I apologise. Please carry on.
Thank you. Well, when I'm out, all I see is thousands of twitching thumbs stepping merrily away on their little mobiles, and I get the distinct impression that nobody speaks to anybody anymore. And I'll tell you something else.
Will you?
Yes, I will.
I thought you would.
It won't be long before the owners of those twitching thumbs have got problems.
Are we talking medical?
Of course, what else?
Good. For a moment, I had visions of what thousands of twitching little thumbs might be getting up to.
You mark my words, it'll be a serious, brand new medical condition.
And I bet you have a name for it, Dr. Harry.
Of course. Thumberitis textititis.
Thumberitis, textititis. Oh, very good. hey, we could be ahead of the game and build our own thumb hospital. Mind you, we'd have to have some plans drawn up.
We wouldn't need to. We'd just have to submit a thumbnail sketch.
But you're certainly right about the speed of technology. I mean, so many of the new products that have come onto the market, they're out of date in 3 months. I can't keep up to it.
Oh, well, it's not that what is me is these people that invent these new contraptions. I mean, can they keep up with them? And what's more, can they control them?
No doubt you can clarify that last statement.
Well, not really, but a few weeks ago I saw a film on television, and it was about a computer which had started to think for itself.
And what did this computer get up to?
Well, for a start, it had an attitude problem.
Now I know why you watched it.
What?
No, nothing. Carry on.
Well, it killed most of the people in the world.
You like a happy ending then, do you?
Well, it was defeated, but it could have happened.
And it was science fiction, that's all.
Oh, well, it's science fiction today and reality tomorrow. I mean, did you think when we left school in the 50s that a few years later a man would walk on the moon?
21st of July 1969,
What was?
when the first man walked on the moon.
Neil Armstrong.
Certainly was.
Hey, it's funny how you remember his name, isn't it? It's like, where were you when Kennedy was shot?
Well, I know where you were.
All right, then where was I?
You were with Mrs. Wilson.
Do you know which bit of new technology really winds me up?
Oh, come on, Harry. How could I possibly know that? Everything we've talked about this has wound you up.
Well, it's the way that they package everything nowadays. Everything you buy is sealed so tight that you can't get into it without the surgeon's kit.
Oh, I think you're exaggerating.
Am I? All right, you answer me this. The last time that you bought, shall we say, a packet of biscuits, and you tried to open it, was it easy?
No.
Did you have to use an implement?
Yes, I had to get a knife.
And did you have to stab or saw your way in?
Is that important?
Oh, not really. I'm just trying to drive home a point.
Okay, well, you've done that.
Okay, but you mark my words. It won't be too long before they start finding people at home dead of starvation. And what's more, they'll all have a larder full of food.
And why will that be?
Because they can't open the bloody packet.
That's ridiculous, and you know it.
Well, that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
Mind you, I must admit that some products are packaged very badly. I bought a lock the other day. It was sealed that tight, well, I couldn't get into it. I had to put it in a vice and saw the top off.
What sort of a lock?
A security lock.
A security lock, and you couldn't get it out of its wrapping. You can't get much more secure than that, can you?
Oh, no, you can't.
Penny for him, Jack.
Well, I was just thinking about one of my theories.
You with a theory, this'll be good.
There's no need to be sarcastic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's have your theory.
Well, I think the world is already under attack. but not from your computer, and not from an impenetrable packet of biscuits. No, it's from these new superbugs and viruses that keep appearing.
Oh, I wonder where they all come from.
Well, perhaps they've always been here.
What do you mean?
Well, think how food was handled when we were young. The butcher used his bare hands for sausages, pies, cooked meat. And the grocer used to weigh out such things as biscuits and sweets and tip them loose into a paper bag. And if he had to adjust the weight, he used his fingers, never tongs. And another thing, I never saw any of these people wearing rubber gloves or washing their hands, did you?
No, but what's your point?
Well, perhaps with all these laws that we have on hygiene, we've all become so squeaky clean that our immune systems can't cope with the unexpected.
And a little dirt hurt no one.
Well, that's what my mother used to say.
It's an old wives' tale.
Is it? You ask me where all these bugs come from. Well, tell me this. Is it because we're dirty? Or is it because we're too squeaky clean?
If what you were saying is right, what we should be doing is putting a spoonful of dirt on our cornflakes instead of sugar.
Maybe.
Well, I can't see Parliament passing a law for that.
Why not? I bet that Lionel in his day would have gone for it.
Lionel?
You know, that Lionel Blair.
Bloody hell, Jack, you mean Tony Blair? Lionel Blair's a dancer.
So what? You show me a Prime Minister that can't show a quick turn of foot when he has to. Anyway, I don't think we had all these diseases when we were young.
Oh, there's always been a lot of nasty things about.
Yes, but we didn't seem to have as many.
Yeah, but when we were youngsters, we'd only know about them we caught.
You mean like chicken pox, measles and mumps?
I've had all three, did you?
Yes. Hey, and you know what they say about mumps?
No, what do they say about mumps? Whoever they may be.
Well, they say that if you catch it in later life, you stop thinking about women.
Oh, and if women catch it in later life, do they stop thinking about women?
What kind of a question is that?
How old were you when you got mumps?
8.
Well, that's hardly later in life, is it? Here, hang on, I know what you're trying to say. You're saying that mumps has finally caught up with you and you can't do it.
Who's been telling you that?
Nobody, it's a joke.
Well, it's not bloody funny.
Yes, swearing now. Have I touched a nerve end?
No, you haven't.
Can you?
Can I what?
You know, still do it.
None of your business.
You can you?
Yes, I can, and if you don't believe me, you can ask Mary.
Ooh, I'm hardly likely to do that, am I? All right, I'll believe you where thousands wouldn't. And after we'd had chicken pox and measles and mumps, somebody invented the 24-hour virus. Now, who in their right mind would do a daft thing like that?
Perhaps it was that computer.
I've had a 24-hour virus.
Have you? How long did it last?
2 days.
The old ones are best.
and then there was the time when all the class caught in Pitago.
That's right. And the only remedy was to put that purple stuff on your face. What was it called?
Ginseng violet.
No. Jensen was a car. No, it wasn't Gentian violet. That's what it is.
Is it? Anyway, we all look like ancient Britons.
And Rita Richardson spread it all over her face and her neck, and she kept shouting, "I am Boadicea, Queen of the class." Good old Rara. Wonder what happened to her?
Oh, she emigrated to Australia. Why did we call her Rara?
What?
Why did we call her Rara?
Well, Rita starts with an R, yes?
Yes.
And Richardson starts with an R as well, yes?
Yes.
Well, if you put them both together, what have you got?
Rara. Bloody hell, how thick can you get?
I think you've just answered that question.
Rita Richardson, I don't remember her being Boadicea, but I do remember her shouting a lot. She lived down a ginnel from us.
A ginnel. Hey, that's a good local word from the past. A ginnel. A ginnel. Passageway between two buildings. I think that was the definition.
And if that takes you back, here's another I heard the other day. Laking.
Laking. We were never playing out, were we? We were always laking out. Laking in woods. Laking hot swings. Laking soccer.
That's probably brought something else back as well. You were still off school with him, Picago, and Miss Johnson, in geography lesson, said to Eddie Roberts, which are the two biggest lakes in England? And he said, football and cricket.
Eddie Roberts. I wonder what happened to him.
Oh, he married Rita Richardson.
Oh, so he must be in Australia as well then.
That's right. And Rita Richardson will now be Rita Roberts. So even down under, she'll still be known as Ra Ra.
Have you decided where you're going for your holidays this year? Shouldn't I bother to ask?
No, you shouldn't have bothered to ask. It's Mallorca, bloody Mallorca.
Well, I know it's none of my business, but why do you always go to Mallorca?
And it's Jean, she likes Mallorca.
Well, can't you slip it in somewhere that there might be other places in the world that are worth seeing?
Well, I've tried, but it doesn't make any difference. Would you like to tell her?
Me? Not bloody likely.
She's swearing again. Are you frightened of my wife?
Me? No, but she can be very formidable when she wants to.
She's very set in her ways, is my Jean. She doesn't like a routine upsetting, that's for sure.
But if something different did come up, how would you handle it?
Well, I don't know. It's never happened.
So, Mallorca it is.
Look, Jack, it's no big deal. It's just the way it is, and if it makes Jean happy, then I'm happy.
I understand. And you still have one another.
What do you mean by that?
Nothing.
Nothing. Jack, are you trying to tell me something?
What makes you think that?
Well, everything we've spoken about this morning, it seems to me, has been leading up to something. Unless it's my vivid imagination.
And that's all it is. Imagination. Right, does this hotel in Mallorca, does it have a swimming pool?
Of course it does.
Silly question, I should have known. Anyway, remember my golden rule.
Well, what's that?
A man with your beer belly should always make sure that he's never more than 14 walking paces from the pool.
Why?
Because if you decide to go in for a swim, that's as far as you'll be able to walk, holding your stomach in. Make it 7.
I'll remember that. Where are you going?
Nowhere. Things are a bit tight at the moment. That new bathroom didn't come cheap.
Tell me about it.
Oh, come on, Harry. Jean can't be wanting a new bathroom suite yet. It's only about a week since she had one fitted.
3 years. You know what Jean's like. Always buying these old magazines which show her all the latest products and the latest designs. And then she'll say, oh, Harry, isn't this bathroom suite one you could just die for?
To die for. To bloody well die for?
Jack, what's wrong?
I'm sorry, Harry. I didn't think I had another tear in me. I thought there was only hate and anger left.
Jack, please.
Mary's test results came back some little while ago. We've had our worst fears confirmed. Mary's dying, Harry. She's dying.
You're joking.
I don't think that'd be a very funny joke, do you?
I didn't.
I know you didn't.
Have you,
Yes, we've had a second opinion.
How long?
2 to 4 months.
Oh, Jack, I'm so sorry. Jean will be absolutely devastated.
I think she'll know by now. Mary was going to ring her this morning.
Jack, I don't know what to say.
I'm sorry too, Harry. I should have told you earlier, but I didn't know where to begin. And then when you talked about bathrooms,
It's all right, Jack, I understand.
you know, when we first found out, all she was worried about was me. Whether the grandchildren remember her. I told her they loved her. She'd always be in their memories.
I can't appreciate how difficult this must be for you.
Hard. It's hard, Harry, trying to be brave all the time. I open the wardrobe door and there's my clean shirt hanging there. I open a drawer and a clean pair of socks and my underwear. She always says it's the good fairy that does it all. And now instead of the good fairy, we have the bloody mess-up fairy. Oh, I think I can cope with the housework. Harry, what do you say to an empty chair? To an empty space in bed? To all those spaces that have been occupied by someone you've loved for 40 years? Spaces where you've laughed together, cried together, made your decisions together. And it's the little things that get to you. I'm up first every morning. I go in the kitchen, I open the cupboard, I take out 2 cups and I make us both a cup of coffee. I take Mary's into the bedroom and mine into the lounge. And Harry, it frightens me. My God, how it frightens me, because I know that before very long I'll be opening that cupboard and taking out only 1 cup.
Jack, I know this won't help, but I'm scared as well. You see, I've never been down this road before. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say to a best mate who's losing somebody is loved for an eternity. I wish I did, but I don't.
Harry, it's times like this when you feel vulnerable and useless. Because there isn't anything you can do. You're not Jesus Christ, you can't perform miracles. If only you could, but you can't. Because that's the way things are. It's called life, Harry. Sometimes life stinks. But there you go. All you can do is sit there and watch while someone you've loved is slowly taken away from you. And it's times like this when I'm glad I have a friend like you. So you don't have to say anything because you're here. And that's all that matters.
What's next?
Well, I've got to try and make whatever time we have left very special. Mary and I have had lots of ups and downs in our lives. In fact, you might say we've had more downs than ups.
I can't argue with that.
I know you can't. But you don't have to agree with me.
I'm sorry.
Harry, stop walking on eggshells. You don't have to. I know it's hard for you. And I'm sure that I should shed a lot more tears yet. But for now, I have to try and stay focused on making every day that I have left with Mary special. You see, this is my last chance to keep some promises I've made over the years. You know, when we first found out and we cried ourselves dry, she asked me to promise 2 things. First, that I'd always laugh if I thought it was funny. And you and I have done some laughing this morning, haven't we?
We have that.
So I've kept the first part of the promise.
What's the second part?
That at times when I was missing her, I tried to think that she'd just slipped into the kitchen to put the kettle on, or gone down the garden to look at the flowers. And I said I'd try. I don't know whether I'll be able to keep that part of the promise. I really don't.
Okay, Jack. That's for another day. But for now, you've got a lady who's very much alive. And knowing Mary, I know she'll fight every step of the way. Jack, is there anything that Mary has always wanted to do?
Yes. A Caribbean cruise, but we could never afford it.
Oh, they can be expensive.
I know. But it's Mary's wish. And I'm going to make sure it happens. With your help, that is.
Me? How? Oh, you want me to lend you the money?
No, I don't want you to lend me anything except your understanding and support.
Jack, I'm sorry, but you've lost me.
Here they come. I thought they'd have been here soon.
Who'd have been here sooner?
The police. There's 2 cars just pulling into the car park.
Oh, yes, I can see. I wonder who they're chasing.
They're not chasing. They're looking.
Looking for what?
The money.
What money?
The money I stole from the security man.
Oh, don't start going down that road again. What's that?
Well, for a start, it's that bin liner that you've been ranting
And what's inside it?
Well, why don't you have a look?
Bloody hell, it looks like a security bag. What's in it?
Have a look.
It's full of money.
10 out of 10 for observation.
How much?
About £7,000.
About?
Harry, I'm hardly going to spread it out on the bench and count it. All I could do was to make a quick calculation.
How?
Ow, what's the matter? Have you trapped something?
No, I bloody haven't trapped something. How did you get that money?
Simple, really.
It's you, it's bloody simple for taking it.
You're swearing again now. Can I continue?
Oh, by all means, be my guest.
Thank you. I was walking towards this security van when all of a sudden the back doors were flung open and out jumped the guard. He threw down his helmet and ran round to the driver's side.
Is that it?
How do you mean?
Well, what was wrong with it?
Well, how the hell do I know? I'm not a doctor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Silly question.
Look, if it helps, he was holding his stomach.
Oh, thank you. Go on.
Well, by this time, I was at the back of the van, and there's this bag just sitting there.
So you picked it up
I did. And I walked round the other side of the van and round the corner.
and you kept on walking?
Yes, all the way up here. Oh, I turned round a couple of times to go back, but then this little voice in my head kept saying, think of the cruise.
And did this little voice say, think of prison?
No, it didn't. And if you hadn't interrupted me, I was going to tell you, it said, think of the cruise, think of Mary.
Ah. And then what did you do?
Well, after I'd made a quick estimation of how much there was in it, I pinched your bin liner, put the other bag inside it and hid it at the back of that bush.
It's a laurel,
What is?
that bush.
Right.
And how do you feel now?
Sorry.
Oh, that's a start.
Oh, I'm not sorry for stealing the money. I'm sorry for the guard. I don't know what was wrong with him, but I hope he'll be all right.
Oh, yeah, my memory, I almost forgot. As I was coming past, somebody said that whoever were in ambulance were going to be fine.
Oh, that's good news.
Where do we go from here?
Well, earlier on you asked me where all my questions were leading. Well, now I think you know. And unless I've misjudged your answers, we'll be going straight to the police.
Well, you have misjudged me, haven't you? What you did was stupid and totally against character, but I don't think going to the police is the answer, do you?
Oh, Harry, I don't know what the answer is. All I've been thinking about is Mary.
Mary, and that's the answer. Jack, if we go to the police, how do you think Mary will cope in her condition, seeing your name plastered all over the newspapers?
You're right. The shame of it will kill her quicker than this other thing she's got. So what do you suggest?
Well, I think Mary could do with a bit of sea air.
What?
You word.
But you
I
said
know what I said. But somebody wrote that if it came to a choice between betraying his friend and betraying his country, he hoped he'd have the courage to betray his country. So it looks like he stuck with me.
Oh, I never doubted you for a minute, Harry. But we can't go on our own. We'll need you and Jean with us for support.
I know.
I'll pay.
Oh, you bet you will.
But what about Jean? She'll only go to Mallorca.
Oh, I'll tell her we're sailing instead of flying.
What a beautiful sky. Not a cloud in sight.
Ah, it's funny, isn't it, as well? Just a few moments ago, I could have sworn I felt a grey area coming on. Well, come on, we'd better get down to travel agents before one of us changes our minds.
When it's all over and I'm on my own, then I'll go to the police.
Well, maybe, maybe not. I think we'll discuss everything over 2 large gin and tonics on deck as the sun goes over the yard arm.
Sounds good to me. And Harry, one more thing before we go.
What's that?
I never pinched a toffee from Woolies either.
Oh.